Hello and welcome to Profiles and Issues, the cable television talk show that gives you in-depth interviews with prominent people in the news. I'm your host, Dennis Rudin. Our profile tonight is John Ravitz, Executive Vice President of the Business Council of Westchester. Our main issues for discussion are: how does the council serve the businesses and residents in Westchester? Why is the BCW pushing for the privatization of Westchester County Airport? And now our profile. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, John Ravitz developed a passion to help the less fortunate. Armed with a master's degree from NYU School of Social Work, he applied for a position on the staff of Congressman Bill Green, where he worked as a social worker for 6 years in New York City. In 1990, he ran and was elected to the New York State Assembly, where he served for 12 years representing Manhattan's East Side. During his career as an assemblyman, he was elected by his Republican peers to the leadership positions of Minority Whip and Deputy Minority Leader. In these positions, he coordinated and steered key legislation before the New York State Assembly, as well as directed floor debates. After leaving office, Mr. Ravitz served as the executive director of the New York City Board of Elections until 2007, and as CEO of the American Red Cross in Westchester County, before being associated with the Business Council of Westchester. We are pleased and honored to have John Ravitz as our guest on Profiles and Issues. John, welcome to the show.
Dennis, thanks for having me.
And thank you for inviting us to your beautiful offices here.
Anytime, welcome.
John, what services and programs does the BCW provide for the businesses and residents in Westchester County? And before you answer that, I also forgot to mention, you're the Chief Operating Officer also, right, besides Vice President?
We wear multiple hats here. We're a very small staff, but we're a small staff that leads the largest business economic development advocacy business membership organization in Westchester County. The BCW has roughly 1,000 members, and they range from the multi-international companies that call Westchester home, MasterCard, IBM, Pepsi, Heineken USA, to the large biotech firms that have come into Westchester and the Hudson Valley, to professional service firms, hospitals, and universities. We also have 130 non-for-profits, and it's so important that we make sure people realize and understand that non-for-profits are economic engines. They create jobs, they bring in revenue for their communities, and they also deliver so many important essential services. And then we have the mid-sized small businesses and solo entrepreneurs. And our mission for our members is very, very important for us to always remind the business community. We're here to help our members grow. We want to help them be able to build their businesses. We want to be able to give them the opportunity to build relationships amongst each other that will help their businesses. We want to put them in front of key stakeholders that will also be able to see how important their businesses are. We help market their businesses by allowing them to use all of the different media platforms that we have at the Business Council of Westchester. And then we advocate for them on all levels of government to make sure that their concerns that are happening on the county, state, and federal level are being addressed that affect their industry.
One of the things that fascinated me was your background. It's really a diverse background, serving first in social work, in government. How did you make the transition to work with the Business Council?
Well, you know, it was very interesting. When I was applying for the CEO for the American Red Cross in Westchester County, Marcia Gordon, who is our president and CEO, was on the search committee. And once I accepted the job at the Red Cross and realized that there was a lot of work that needed to be done to really, again, repair some relationships that had been damaged over the years, as well as continue to remind the Westchester business community how important the Red Cross was and the mission that they serve for the people of the county. And Marcia was a great mentor in helping me really build a roadmap that I use to introduce myself as the new CEO of the Red Cross in Westchester County, but also, as I said, to build relationships and to create new partnerships. And one thing led to another. After I'd been in the Red Cross for about 5 years, and Marcia and I were talking, and we started talking about how we could work together and what I could bring to the Business Council of Westchester because of my past experiences in government. And so it's been a fantastic, for me, experience to be involved with this organization. It will be 8 years in October. And what I find so exciting about the Business Council is that it's given me the opportunity to be exposed to so many different businesses of all sizes and really meet true business leaders and true entrepreneurs, some of them who had a dream and made it into a reality. And so to be able to help them in any way, shape, or form, to me is an honor. And so we're very proud of our members. We're proud of the work that they do. We're proud of the role that we play in helping also to deal with economic development issues that are going to hopefully bring more jobs and more revenue into the Westchester County.
If people want to learn more about about the BC, about the council, or if they have already made up their mind and they're interested in joining, what steps do they take to get
We make
involved?
it as easy as possible. You can go onto our website, which is www.thebcw.org. You'll see different tabs, but if you go into the membership tab, you'll be able to see, again, the different levels of membership we have, the different opportunities that come with those membership levels. But you can always feel free to give us a call at 914-948-2110, and we'll answer any questions that you have.
Okay, any emails that you want to give out?
Well, again, I think our website is the most important one, and that's bcw.org.
Okay, and my editor promised me that she will put that font in.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Okay, so people, and that will flash periodically.
That's great.
Okay, John, why is the Business Council pushing for privatization of the Westchester County Airport?
Well, let me take a step back, Dennis, because one of the things that we've always said is that we want to be able to look at how government and the private sector can work together in a productive, positive way to get results. And we've always supported the prospects of having public-private partnerships in New York State. Part of our legislative agenda that we put out every year, we've always said that New York State should look at having a statewide public-private partnership agenda. Why? Because we've seen it work in other states. We've seen government and business work together to get things done on time, to get things done under budget, but more importantly, to engage and build new partnerships. The airport is a very important resource for Westchester County, and it's an important resource for the business community, it's an important resource for the traveling community, and it's an important resource for the neighboring community. And a few years ago, former County Executive Astorino and his administration discovered a program that was run out of a program from the FAA, in which if there was a municipal airport that wanted to engage in a public-private partnership to enhance the services of the airport, there would be an opportunity for the county to secure $35 million. Put the $35 million aside for a second, which is important. The county obviously could use that revenue. This was an opportunity for us to look at how we could take Westchester Airport and enhance the services, not enlarge it. And you're going to hear me say this a lot today on your program. We're not looking to enlarge the airport. We're not looking to increase the number of runways. We're not looking to increase the number of flights that go out every day. What we are looking to do is to bring in a partner and an operator that has a seasoned track record in coming in and looking at the facility and saying, what can we do to make it more efficient? What can we do to make it more user-friendly? And what can we do to bring in more revenue for the local municipality as well? And so they started, under the Astorino administration, a process. The first process didn't work. The Board of Legislators felt that they had been left out of the process. And so they decided they were going to issue a new RFP, request for proposal, and any operator that wanted to submit the RFP who would look to be part of this program could do so. They then formed a bipartisan task force that reviewed all three RFPs, interviewed all three operators, and then made a decision choosing one operator. At that point, the campaign for county exec took over, and this issue became a campaign issue. And so there was a lot of rhetoric that got talked about during the campaign. A lot of groups from outside the community used this airport as a way to, I personally believe, scare people into believing that things, if this partnership were to occur, that again this would be turned into LaGuardia North, which is never going to happen. And the rhetoric it just increased in a very negative way. After the campaign was over, the new county exec Latimer, decided that he was going to put a stop of the work that had been done by the bipartisan task force with the group that had been selected. And he was going to start a process to really engage the community in a transparent way to discuss various issues regarding the airport. I support him on that. We support him on that. I think the county exec is a fine public servant, and he truly does believe in transparency, and that is very important, I think, especially in this day and age when people are very cynical about politics. So he decided over the summer that he was going to hold 3 public hearings and invite the community, and he was going to hold the public hearings in the surrounding areas nearest the airport.
Yes, I was there. In fact, that's where both of us met.
And so each of the hearings were on different topics. One was on the master plan, one was on governance, and one was on operation.
Right.
And we attended each of those hearings. We testified in those hearings. And what was concerning was the rhetoric continued to get very, very heated during these hearings. And the rhetoric continued to really raise some myths that just were not factual. And what we heard during the hearing were things were people saying maybe we need to reduce the number of flights at the airport. And in some cases, we heard people say maybe we should look at other areas of the country that have closed municipal airports. Dennis, the airport is, as I said, is so important to Westchester County because not only can it be and should be a huge resource for recruiting businesses to come and stay in Westchester County and to grow in Westchester County, but it's important for the traveling community and also the neighboring communities as well. So we decided at the Business Council of Westchester that we would hopefully serve in a positive role by creating a coalition of businesses of all sizes who would come together to say, hey, look, we need this airport. We need this airport to be run efficiently, but more importantly, we need to seize an opportunity in which we can do so many more creative and productive things for that airport so that, again, businesses, when they look at Westchester Airport, can say, this could be a very important role for my destination for my employees as well as for our clients and consultants that we need to come into Westchester County. If you look at the airport now, it is outdated. The terminals are pre 9/11 in terms of security, and so a lot of really important work can happen.
First of all, you mentioned about transparency. We covered my program. We tried to cover the 2017 elections, and when I say we tried to cover it, and I'm just going at this at the news point of view,
right,
not the political news. The current county executive, Latimer, was available for interviews. I could not get the former county executive, Astorino, on, and I spoke to other people in the field, and they weren't always, the transparency was not always there. A lot of it was done at times in closed meetings, so the public was not always aware of what was happening. The other thing is, and I understand, because I was with you at those meetings with the airport. Yes, most of the residents were one-sided, but there were residents who had homes there, mm-hmm, and who had complained of excessive noise levels and other problems, and they were not being addressed by the former county executive Astorino. In fact, he did not release the noise reports until after the election. So the only reason why I bring this, you're perfectly right about what it can bring to the community. Mm-hmm. It can bring a lot of positive things, and that's why we're covering this. But also there is turmoil and there is distrust because of the way, from my vantage, of the way the previous administration handled it.
Well, the previous administration is gone.
I understand but the anxiety is still there.
Okay, well,
this is what I want you to
the anxiety might be there. I think, again, the county exec has introduced this transparency process that is important for the airport and for the surrounding communities to have a voice and be engaged. That's fine. I think it's important and it has to continue. One of the things that I liked about every one of the operators who submitted their RFPs to come in to be a new partner at the airport was that they understood that they needed to become responsible, active participants in the community, that they needed to engage the community, they needed to form task force that had the community as members involved to deal with many of the quality of life issues that should be addressed. And we heard them during the hearings, whether it was the noise complaint, whether it was dealing with the involuntary curfew that might be at times not being addressed. Environmental issues, everything from air and noise, but also asbestos and drainage. All of those issues need to be addressed.
And also water pollution.
And water pollution.
Tends to go down.
Right. Well, but here's one of the things that I found so exciting about bringing in a partner that has a proven track record. They've already come up with ideas on how they would address those issues. What we have now is an operator who's been operating the airport for almost 3 decades. They don't have the resources or the capacity or the really experience to start addressing some of these key environmental issues that, if addressed properly, I think improve the quality of life for the surrounding community. So one of the myths that we needed to really start to chip away at was that environmental oversight of the airport would suffer if this new partnership were to occur. Furthest thing from the truth, Dennis. What it would do is it would bring in, again, a seasoned, experienced company that wants to address the environmental issues, that have strategies to deal with those issues, and also to engage the community in them as well, and the county. So I think that's one of the biggest myths that we're going to have to spend time, again, trying to lower the rhetoric on when we talk about environmental and quality of life issues.
Okay, one of the other things, and again, I want you to give our audience insight. Mm-hmm. People that I spoke to, and we had some residents groups on also to try to cover it from all sides. They spoke, the current Avports has a fiduciary relationship with the county airport. Yeah. Fiduciary meaning that they get paid a set fee, and that's it. And that if for any reason the county legislators are not happy with the job they're doing, they can be terminated. Right. Now, I think that a lot of insecurity on the part of the public is if a private corporation takes over and how they're afraid of the county government losing control. Any good businessman or person rather, is judged by how can you increase profits and efficiency. And the anxiety is, okay, yes, we're going to create a fantastic airport, but it's going to be top-heavy as far as congestion, traffic, anything else. Can you address this?
Sure, and again, that's one of the myths that we really do want to dispel, is that the county would lose control under this new arrangement. First of all, the county is always and will continue to be a co-partner in that. There are legislation in place already that would not be changed in that area. And also, Dennis, I think what's important is to say is, right now the county has that oversight and has that partnership with the operators that have been running the airport, and look at the concerns and quality of life issues that haven't been addressed. Why? Again, because the resources aren't there and the experience isn't there to really try to come up with strategies to address those. So we always are going to advocate for a partnership. The county always having control of what goes on in terms of oversight. And here's another thing that I think is important for your viewers to really understand as well. The county is going to negotiate the contract. The county is going to determine the length of the lease and the partner in the agreement. The county is going to negotiate the terms. The county is going to negotiate the checks and balances that we want to see in place. And so for the community to basically say the county will lose all control, again, it's just not factual. We have a very competent county attorney in John Nona, who I am confident that he and his staff, working with a corporation or an organization that would deal with these issues, that would be chosen, they could work together. They can come up with a structure that, again, gives the county that authority, gives the checks and balances in place, continues to have the Board of Legislators engaged on a daily basis. All that can happen. But just to say and use the scare tactics that, the county will lose all control, it's just not the case.
We in this past summer, we had Ben Boykin, chairman of the Westchester County Board of Legislators, in, and I didn't have him in to totally speak on this topic because at that time he was first getting that assignment from the county executive to study the master plan. But he identified some of the issues that we just spoke about: anxiety, about the water pollution, the sustainability. He's an accountant. He wanted to question the capital plan for the future, the budget expenditures. And I understand, believe me, and I think the audience does, about the wealth that the business community can bring here, and that it can help with reduce the taxes, which are going to be really bad as we go into the year. But again, there is this anxiety about control. Now, right now, from what I've been able to find out from the people that are in control on the County Board of Legislators, it's sitting there. And, they don't tell me what's moving. Right. So, in a way, I understand your actions. So, what do you have planned to force this?
Well, we're not going to force. We're just going to hopefully be a productive voice. And that's why it's so important that we have so many different businesses. And this list is grown. We have 25 other businesses now that have joined since we had to put this poster together. But we have businesses of all sizes, and they've come together to be part of this coalition because they want to be part of the discussion. They want to continue to remind the County Board of Legislators and the county executive how important having a vital airport is for their businesses and for the economy as a whole in Westchester County. And they want to, again, try to lower the rhetoric on that. Now, the county exec had a press conference over the summer at the airport, and that's when he said he was going to do some air and noise testing, and they had purchased devices to monitor it. I think that's a very responsible way to go about it, and we support that. But then he said that he was going to have the Board of Legislators oversee a new RFP to hire a consultant to write a new master plan. Well, here's where my concern is with that. If the new county exec wants to write a master plan, that's fine. But the master plan does not address governance and operations. And so if that's the only action they're going to take, and they're going to just put the governance and operations to the side, that's not helping the airport. It's not helping the process. It's not helping the business community, the traveling community, and the surrounding community. Because those issues that they have raised will still be there. And the present operators who don't have the capacity or the resources or the experience to make any improvements will still be managing the airport. So what we're going to try to do with this coalition is to try to remind the Board of Legislators that they did a lot of work last year. They did a lot of work, and they covered a lot of important issues that the community needed to hear about that were put in that RFP. And then they studied the answers that were put by each of the corporations that had submitted the RFPs. They asked questions in sessions to those, and then they selected one operator who they felt had submitted the best RFP in terms of dealing with a lot of these issues. We want them to continue to go back and look at that work. It was a solid body of work done in a bipartisan manner, and it shouldn't just be put on a shelf somewhere.
Well, actually with the airport, only 15%, right, of the flights are commercial. The rest of it is private and corporate, right? So, and I'm just trying to get to the facts. I'm not trying to make political points or whatever.
Sure.
So basically, what you'd like to see, if I'm right on that, and let me know if I'm off track. You really would like to have more hangar space and more corporate jet flights?
No, this is to deal with the terminal itself. One of our members, Millionaire, has a separate contract that they've done with the county to build new hangars for private jets and for company jets. That's important. We need those companies to be able to come into Westchester and be able to have a facility that they trust and feel very comfortable with. In terms of the terminal, we want to enhance the services. We want to be able to see if we can actually bring in more local businesses to be part of the terminals there. We want to use the terminal as a great incubator for workforce development.
Can you give me one example of when you say enhance?
Yep.
How do you enhance?
Well, we want to enhance the dining experience. We want to enhance the gate experience, the security experience. Again, if you go into Westchester Airport right now, it is very condensed and tight.
Yeah, I know. I've been there.
We need to be able to be creative, look to see how we can open up more space, and these businesses, these operators that applied for these RFPs all have good architects and plans to be able to do that. So I think that's very important. I also don't want to lose sight of the workforce development aspect of this. There are so many different businesses that have a stake at the airport. Not just the pilots and the air traffic controllers. There are many, many businesses that we need to be able to train our future workforce to hopefully be involved in. The airport, as I said, can be a great incubator for that. And having a new partner managing the airport who wants to put workforce development as one of their priorities, I also think would be a huge win for Westchester County. The status quo isn't working. And so for those people who say we don't want any change, those issues and problems that they still have then will remain. And I think, again, what the coalition hopefully will be able to do.
And what do you tell the homeowners who live in that region about the noise complaints and everything else?
I want to say this in the most respectful tone.
Sure.
It's not like they bought the house and then found out that they were near an airport. All right? They understand that by buying a house in a surrounding area, that airport has been there and will stay there. It's not going anywhere. So now we have to address some of the quality of life issues that have been raised, and we should do that. And we should do that in a responsible way. We should look at the complaints that have come in and see what solutions can be done to alleviate those concerns and move forward.
At the press conference, you mentioned that you were launching a petition drive. Explain.
On the coalition website, which is right here, coalitionforwestchesterairport.org, you will see a link for a petition. And the petition, again, just explains the mission of the Airport Coalition. And all we ask people to do is put in their name and zip code, and it will immediately, that petition will go to the county executive and to the members of the Board of Legislatures.
John, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been very informative. I wish you the best, and because we need all the leaders that we can to face these great challenges.
Well, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for dedicating this show to talk about an issue that's so important to the Westchester community.
Okay, and we look forward to having you back in the near future.
Looking forward to it.
Okay. My guest has been John Ravitz. He is the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of the Business Council of Westchester. This is Dennis Rudin saying so long for Profiles and Issues.